Holli Willibey, candidate for the 32nd Assembly special election. Thank you so much for joining us in studio.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
And this is Jack. He is service, so he has taught college psychology with me and has been pretty much at my side for a number of years. So I tell people he is probably better behaved than me, and I'm only half kidding.
He's adorable. I'm so glad you brought him in with you.
You know, I think actually some of the people that signed my nomination form signed it for him.
For Jack, just for Jack.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit more about, what it is you do, Holli, and who you are.
Okay, so basically I'm just a regular person that has been, in field teaching for a number of years. And over the number of years that I've been teaching, I noticed that we had some issues in our schools. And I think probably everybody noticed that we have issues in our schools. So make a really long story short, I eventually ended up running for school board. I told about 3 people, and about 2/3 of the people in the town voted for me in my area. And so I took that to kind of mean that people were going to be supporting me silently, if not out loud. And I say that because there's a lot of aggression against conservatives right now, and it needs to stop. So as much as he's cute and fluffy and I look like, just a regular little old lady, I'm actually a ball of fire. And when I take you on for real. And so when I moved up to Frazier Park initially about 5 years ago, I was really excited to be in the area. And I moved into my house and found out that the registered sex offender that was next door, the stories that I had heard that my other neighbor was just this, that, and the other were not true. He was very, very aggressive. He had raped a kid, went to prison for that, got out on parole, had actually been stalking my other neighbors. And the sheriffs, when this guy beat my neighbor, basically said, this was a fight over parking, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so he beats my neighbor, punches the visitor in the face, knocks out 2 of her teeth. Yeah, wow. Exactly. And so he was just painted as a victim in all of this. They did not revoke his parole. I move in, he starts stalking me, and I'm not the type to be stalked. I have a 15-year career in the field of security and law enforcement. So the law enforcement position was not a cop. I was a prison guard, basically. So I was contracted to federal. And so I've done bouncer work, prison guard, things of that nature. And then I went on to teach college criminal justice before I started teaching college psychology. So nobody really knew my history. And I expected things to work in a certain way when I made the reports. I had evidence. Everything was tight in terms of that. But yet I was being stonewalled and told there's nothing to see here. And they started trying to make me out like I was just this person that hated pedophiles, and same thing they were doing to my other neighbor. And I really hadn't met my other neighbor yet. So when I started to get stonewalled really bad, and I was even threatened by the sheriffs, one of the supervisors threatened me. And the DA was supposed to be pushing through an investigation, all of this stuff. And I was like, what is going on? So I went over and I talked to my neighbor, and he told me the whole story. And I was like, your story is aligning with what I'm seeing. Why have they done nothing to help you? And then I wouldn't even be dealing with this. Now this individual has gone on to start chasing children around the neighborhood. So there was a post on Facebook that he went on to follow a girl on a quad and try to offer her a map of the local area. He's going to attack someone else. This is his pattern. Yet the sheriff, the DA, our county supervisors, our AG, and our governor, Newsom, doing nothing.
So what is it that you hope to tackle hands-on by running for the assembly member position,
My
Holli?
top concern is a crime bill. We have to be able to get our government back to the people, and that is what I intend to do.
Do you feel like Prop 36, which just passed,
please. Please.
So what is your, stance on Prop 36?
Okay, so when you take a look at what's going on, Prop 36 is just another thing that says, oh, look at our hands were tied for so long and we couldn't do anything that we needed to do. If people can't do their job, they don't deserve their job. If something was a misdemeanor, it should have been prosecuted. This never would have gotten to the point where it is right now if they had done their jobs, okay? So I don't mince words. I'm a hard hitter. And again, I might look a little easygoing, blah, blah, blah. But when you're up against someone that's not doing the right thing and they're doing you dirty, as my other neighbor said, you have to be a hard hitter. So I don't always come across as nice, and I don't intend to come across as nice. I come across as an American, land of the free, home of the brave. And you have to be brave to take these people on. I'm not part of the establishment. I don't intend to become part of the establishment. Our government is by the people, for the people, and that means we, the people, need to stand up. So with the crime bill, what I intend to do is bring the power back to the people by allowing the people to file their own criminal charges under certain circumstances. So we can't just go rogue and we can't say, oh, let's just do all of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. We would have to have real nice controls around how we can do it and when we can do it. But when we do that, the people that are doing us dirty are going to be held to account, and they're going to know that we can do it now. So basically what's happening with our sheriff's department is they're not even worried about doing their job. I saw that Stan Ellis has like a direct line to Donnie Do Nothing, I call him, our ever-loving Sheriff Youngblood. Yeah, Sheriff, I haven't heard from you. In 5 years, I haven't heard from you. But I've emailed to tell that individual all of the things that have happened, and still silence. And now this person is going around, this criminal sex offender that's harmed people. This woman's teeth were knocked out. The man has permanent damage, he said, to his neck. Okay? Why are we not important? I am one of the people. I am one of you. If you want more of the same, don't vote for me. But if you want change, give me a chance. This is a 2-year term, and I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And further, I want to invite the people to participate with me. I'm a college instructor, okay? Well, ex-college instructor. The bottom line is, I want to start committees of regular citizens that know what else is going on in this county, because as I started to speak out, people started to tell me similar stories of what had happened to them. What's going on with our fires, Newsom? What's going on with our entire government? Why do we not have access to the services we pay for, and where's all the money going?
So really power to the people is what
Yes.
you were advocating for.
Well, this is our government.
Right, and I'm going to get
Supposedly.
to I'm going to get to state government in a bit, but you know, you had criticisms of both DA Cynthia Zimmer as well as
Yes.
Sheriff Donnie Youngblood.
Absolutely.
If elected, these are the very people, at least here in Kern County, you are going to have to work with and interact with on
Well,
a frequent basis. How do you,
yes.
I'm just curious how you plan to do that, because you did have some hard-hitting
I plan to hold them accountable. You're not going to lie to my face. I'm going to call you out. You're not going to continue to not do your job and smooth that over. So this is where people say, oh, you know, don't you want to just get along? No, I don't. You don't kiss the devil and ask him for favors. That's how we got into this mess in the first place.
One big problem with law enforcement that we're hearing at the county level and also the city level, state level as well, is just retention of law enforcement officials.
That's perfect. I'm so glad you brought that up, Jenny, because I saw that when you were asking Stan, and he said, oh, I'll leave it to Donnie Youngblood because we'll throw more money at it. No, that's not going to work. That hasn't worked. The reason that we can't retain good officers, and I can tell you in the case that I've had over the past 5 years, is because the good officers don't want to work for Donnie Youngblood, because they are smashed. Enough is enough. I ran across a couple of people, just a handful, in our local government that really wanted to do the right thing. You could tell. And you could tell they weren't comfortable with the way I was being treated, with the way my neighbor was being treated, the good one, not the criminal. So when you take a look at that, you say, okay, well, why are they not allowed to do their job? And I don't want to give names. I mean, I might, but they already know who did a good job and smashed the person down, so I might as well say. There were a couple of them, okay? So at the sheriff's department, when I got a temporary restraining order, I pushed it under when nobody was looking kind of thing in Lamont to, I guess it was a visiting judge. And I wrote the paperwork. It was absolutely excellent. You know, I know how to do this. I've done it in the past. So, you know, when a judge that wasn't kind of paid under the table or whatever's going on took a look at it, they passed the temporary restraining order and issued that. I couldn't even get the sheriffs to serve it. So that night I went back to my house and I was like, you need to do this. I had to drive all the way to Bakersfield to file it. And then I got on the phone And those people that night did their jobs. Somewhat begrudgingly, some of them, but you could tell by their body language, their tone, etc., that they were under pressure to maybe not do their jobs. But they did the right thing, to their credit. And within days, that order basically on video, one of the sheriff's supervisors was saying, we're not going to enforce that order, okay? And they berated the one deputy that did his job on video. And I said, unbelievable. How dare you? This man did his job. Oh, he shouldn't have done what he did. Yes, he should have done what he did. And we need a new sheriff. So if you're listening, you know who you are.
So other than change of leadership, right, other than switching our sheriff, our DA, again, when it comes specifically to Zimmer and Youngblood, what is the number one concrete thing you would like to do once you take office?
Oh, that's
Holli?
what I told you with the crime bill. I want to put the hands back in the power of the people so that we can file charges even against our criminals in office.
And
now, almost no one will do that because a lot of them are criminals in office. But I'll do it because you're going to need to have evidence to file charges against someone. And there are going to have to be controls for that. But who's going to go in if they want to play the same game and write a bill like that? Now, I'm not stupid. I know it's not going to be easy to pass. 2 years, governorship's opening up. Maybe I'll just delay it a little and sign it into law myself should the people want me in. Now, here's the thing. I'm not funded, and I don't have endorsements. So it's up to you, District 32, Kern and Tulare counties. If you want me in and you want change, you have to be part of it. Support me, tell everyone you know. Otherwise, I won't get in. And if I don't, we have more of the same.
And so ultimately, as you were speaking to the people, you said it's in their hands. It's in our hands. Right.
Yes.
It's up to their votes. But
that's right.
The reality of politics, as we've so often seen here in Kern and Tulare counties, is sometimes endorsements matter, and having the backing of your affiliated party does matter. So for you, you're a Republican. Stan Ellis, your opponent, is also a Republican, and it's likely that he pretty much is the Kern County Republican candidate. So I'm just speaking, when you're talking about politics, how do you go up against that,
I'm
Holli?
not talking about politics. That's criminality as far as I'm concerned, and that's what I'm fighting. I'm talking about our government, our foundational government. We the people. By the people, for the people. Either the people want me or you don't. If you don't, I'll go back home and go to sleep. This is exhausting.
It is exhausting. Running a campaign is exhausting, and you're just getting started.
I'm telling you, it's exhausting only because so many people will just attack you because they don't want you in. You know what I mean? So it's just absolutely ridiculous, and it's done to shut us up. So the other conservatives know what I'm talking about. People are terrified to speak out. This is America, isn't it? I thought it was. Let's bring it back for real, for real.
So we talked about crime and law enforcement. What are some other issues that you care about? I know you mentioned you have
so many.
Well, let's get through them,
So
as many as we can within our time.
Okay.
When we talk about top issues that are a priority for you, what are some of those top issues?
When you take a look, education, absolutely. Our kids can't read. 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 of our kids are reading at level at best. And that is just a tragedy, and there's no reason for it. There's no excuse for it. So that is one of the biggest ones. Our forefathers said we need an educated and moral population to save our republic, really to maintain our republic. I'm using the term to save our republic, but it's very true. So as more and more of our kids can't read, and as I have to fight to make sure our kids get the opportunity to read, I feel like I'm back in the 1500s with the caste system. I'm not kidding, Jenny. I wish I was. Why is it so hard to get anything done nowadays? Because people are skimming off the top. They're organizing crime, and they're covering it, and they're skimming off the top, or they're taking kickbacks from the companies that they're using to do our work that we need around the county. When you throw billions of dollars at an issue and you can't take care of it, that's a problem. That is a big problem. Now, in the past, I've taken care of problems a lot of times. 680,000 square foot property. First time I was ever a security director / fire safety director running a full property. This was a couple decades ago. But anyways, they told me you're not going to be able to fix these problems in a year. But I love your tenacity. And I said, well, let's see, 6 months. And when the dust settled, my location became a training ground for brand new people that wanted to learn. This is what I'm going to do with this seat if I'm put into it. I want committees of regular people telling me, what do you care about that I don't know about yet? I know about our water problems. I know about our problems with power. I live up in Frazier Park, and they wanted to turn our power off. It wasn't even windy for 2 days, okay? Some of those people have medical issues up there. They can't get around that easily. We need power. It's cold up there. Why are you turning off our power and leaving it off for days? Back in the 70s, they didn't do that. Back in the 70s, they're out in the middle of a storm fixing it, so we only had, a couple hours off. Now, there were certain circumstances where that wasn't the case, but for the majority, that's how we lived. You could rely on people to do their jobs, okay? So I know about these issues, but I don't know all of the details. And when I get in, I intend to try to find a way to solve problems without making them worse. So that means I need input from the people that are dealing with the problems. So I belong to a gardening group online in Bakersfield, and some of these people are the nicest that I've ever met in my life, right? So this is why I love this county. And basically, they're like, why is our water being dealt with the way it's being dealt with? So isn't that the best question on the planet? Because when you get the answer, you have the opportunity to solve the problem should you seriously want to solve them. And I seriously do. So when people start to tell me what they're seeing, and I start to, you've been here a while, what has been going on and what has been thrown at this and why isn't it working as far as you could see? And then we have academic discussions, not regular arguments. Those are useless. And then you say, okay, so this didn't work and this didn't work. Should it have? What's going on here? And how can we make sure it does this time? And put regular citizens to work for all of us. And there are a lot of people that I've spoken to out while I was getting my nomination papers, and their eyes light up like Christmas trees. They're like, you mean you're actually going to listen? Yeah, I'm going to listen as long as you come respectfully to me. Of course, why wouldn't I? I don't have all the answers, but I know how to organize the heck out of stuff. And I know how to hit hard where I need to hit hard. And I'm not afraid to do it. And that's been evidenced in the past 5 years of my life here in Kern County, which is why I was voted in the first place for the school board position.
Holli, we have about 2 minutes. Very quickly, it sounds like it's going to be very much a grassroots campaign.
It is.
We're a little over a month out from the primary election. What are campaigning efforts going to look like from you?
Campaigning efforts is calling on the people to spread the word. I'm not funded. This is a government by the people, for the people. It's up to the people to decide if you want me in. And if you do your work, please tell everyone you know and vote for me in the primary on February 25th. Some of the top issues for me, again, the crime. And crime within our agencies, not just on our streets, but both. So we have to make sure measures are put into place where it's basically going to be taken care of without causing more problems. So we have to be careful how we do it, and I will be. Real estate. Why do we have so many homeless people? We've got drug issues, mental health issues, real estate, okay, issues. Why is China buying our land? Why can someone come over here and offer cash for our houses and then basically make us pay a whole lot more to rent our own land? These are our government issues. Why is our government letting us do this? We're being pilfered every single day and we're feeling the pain, okay? I want that to stop, and I want to bring America back to Americans. Vote for me on February 25th, and let's see what we can do.
Alrighty, Holli Willibey, 8032 special election candidate. Thank you, and Jack, so much for coming into studio today. We look forward to working with you this election cycle.
Thank you so much.